welcome to the Gust Gin Live podcast. And I am your hostess, Jen. And I am so glad you're here with me while I am living my 360-degree life. Today, we have an amazing author and friend of mine. Her name is Janet Wolanin Alexander. And she's going to talk to us all about her two books and how she made her dreams into reality. And it's going to be amazing and inspirational. Okay, but before we do all of that and get into the interview, I'd like to do a little housekeeping. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my YouTube channel. And you can quickly get to that at bit.ly/JustGenLive. The G in just, the G in Jen, and the L in live are all capitalized. So bit.ly/JustGenLive. You can also find me on Facebook on Just Gen Live at Just Gen Live. And if you want to know about my books and how everything's going with my books and myself as an author, you can look under at Just Jen. I'm also at Just Jen Live on Instagram and Twitter and also TikTok. I don't talk a lot about TikTok, but I'm on there too. Okay, now before we welcome our friend Janet to the podcast, I'd like to read a little bit of her bio to let you know a little bit more about Janet, okay? If that's all right with y'all, let me put on my glasses so I can see. Okay, so Janet is an award winner, an award-winning author, animal lover, and retired teacher. She lives in New Albany, Indiana, which is just right across the bridge from me, with her husband Jim and their cats and dogs. Her first book, At Home on a Horse in the Woods, A Journey into Living Your Ultimate Dream, was actually a memoir about the importance of taking your dream seriously. And the horse in the woods was her beloved horse, Highlander, which she's going to tell you more about. So Jan's second book, Braiding Horsehair Bracelets, Your Beginner's Guide, is the book that she herself wished was available when she discovered the existence of braided horsehair jewelry in 2005. While riding her horse that year, she met up with one of her friends, a horse riding companion, that shared her actual bracelet, horse braiding bracelet that she had made out west. So from then on, Janet just really wanted to learn how to make horse braided bracelets. And so she sought out to find information about horse braided bracelets, and that led her to a book that she found. It was illustrated in black and white, but it plunged right into challenging projects beyond her capability at the time. And she did finally found a horse braider in Ohio that was willing to give her a lesson or two. And then a few years after that, she received an individual artist grant from the Indiana Arts Commission to study under an artist in Canada. So that's pretty amazing. And I don't know if you've ever seen horse braided bracelets before, but they are gorgeous. And so, and especially great when an animal or your horse has passed on. You can like braid their horsehair into an actual bracelet. But Jane is going to tell you guys more about that. Okay, so it's with no further ado that I introduce you all to my friend Janet. So Janet, are you there? Janet. Uh-oh. Janet. Janet.
I
What happened?
I don't know. It's the same thing as before. And I tried pushing, the unmute and start video, and it didn't work again.
Maybe you have some kind of setting that will only let you do that. And I did everything perfectly this time. I was like, yeah, this take is going to be all that. Okay. Oh man, that's crazy. Let's see. I wonder if there's something in your.
Oh, okay. I just had okay something. A sign came up.
Uh-oh, let
Now
me
it
take it
says,
off my phone. Wait a minute.
I
What
think
now?
a
Take your phone off.
message came on that said that I had to press something to consent to go in. And when I pressed that, it says the host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves, but I'm unmuted.
Well, I'm hearing you now. Take your phone off.
Okay.
Yeah, I took the phone off. Okay. So I can cut all that out. Woo, thank God. Because
So we're on.
right. Okay. So welcome, Janet. So good to see you.
Hi,
Oh
Jen.
my gosh. Yay. I was just telling my audience about your horse braided jewelry, and I told them you want to tell us more about those. And I read your bio, and we're just so excited to have you.
I'm
Now,
excited to be here.
yay. So let me get my glasses on before I can see a little better. Ta-da!
Got mine on.
Okay. You might not remember, but well, you probably do remember that my whole podcast is centered around chai. And so every time we have a visitor, we talk a little bit, we remind everyone about chai. So community, C is for community and family. H, health and wellness over 50. A is author life entrepreneurship. And I is your identity spirituality. So I'm assuming you're going to be A for author life, but maybe a little I as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So good, 2 and 1. Yes. So let's dive into these questions, shall we?
All right.
Woohoo! Okay, so first of all, Miss Janet, tell us about your journey. How did you start writing books in the first place?
It's a total mystery. I loved to read as a kid, and then certain things would happen, and some inner force would just tell me write them down, and they all had to do with horses. And so I just always was called to write down these experiences. And when I became a teacher, I'd run them by, other teachers for their editorial comments and, polish them up. One year I taught high school composition, and I wrote a story every week for my students, and they wrote one for me. Then I taught school for 30 years, and toward the end of that, I joined a writing group and went through all my stories with my fellow writers and polished them even more. It's like I'm never done. I can always fix something. And then I had this pile from mimeographs all the way to computer printouts. And I mean, it wasn't that big. I'm exaggerating. But anyway, I decided to get them put into a book. And two of the gals in my writing group could publish. And so they accepted it and they published. And so I had a book, but then I thought, well, what do I do with it? How do I, how do I get it out there?
Mhm.
And then I ran into the publisher that you and I had, and they, worldwide exposure, and they give tutoring. And they asked me, like, why did, one of the questions you had to answer was, why did you write this book? Like, who's it for? I don't know. I was just, like something just came over me and said, write it. They didn't say why, or it didn't say why, or to whom, or anything like that. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think it has to do with the universal theme of dreams. Mine happen to be horses, but yours is not. And but you have passionate dreams, and it's kind of like my journey into like really coming to accept that and take it seriously and legitimately, and how much it's changed my life for the better. And it really is like a chart of my experience with God, because I have figured out that these yearnings are God related. And the more I take them seriously and accept that, I mean, miracles have happened. I'm not kidding, miracles. So it's really an evolution of my soul.
Oh, I love that. So tell me, what is your dream job? Have you realized all your dreams yet, you think? If not, what else would you like to do?
I
Maybe
would,
not job, but maybe because you are retired, maybe your dream situation, maybe a job. I don't know. Go ahead.
I would like to live in the country. I've always boarded and lived in the suburbs. I'd like to, live in the country and have my horse out my window. Right now, my horses have, the horses I've ridden have been like at boarding school. You don't have to go out and visit them a couple times a week. I'd love to just look out the window and have a little writing room and just be able to, see this beautiful scenery and, compose. Another thing I'd really like to do that would be like less selfish, I guess, would be I'd like to get involved in horse therapy, because they're powerful. They're powerful at helping people work through issues. And I would love to take in some horses that need rescue. And I would love to learn how to train horses with the Liberty method. I don't have a training background, but I know of some people that do, and they can do all these amazing things with horses. They can teach them from feral to tame in a really short time, with no violence or coercion or even saddles or bridles. They can communicate with them and get them to trust them, and not force them. And I would love to learn how to do that. I have lots of things.
I love that. Keep dreaming. It doesn't matter that we're retired. There are still some things that we want to do and accomplish.
Right.
I love that. And I think that's what keeps you going. I think that
Yes.
when people retire and they just sit around like, oh, I'm retired. I'm gonna go take a nap.
I don't understand that at
That's
all.
when I think that they
Yeah,
die, like you got to keep moving and keep growing and just keep living. It's just
right.
important, I think. That's
Yep.
what Okay, what superpower would you choose for yourself? If you could choose any superpower, what
I
superpower
think
would you choose for yourself?
I
And
think
give me
mine
an
is
example of it, how it would apply to your dream situation.
I'm very sensitive, and that's my superpower and my super anti-power. As long as if I could uh, balance that, when it's good to be sensitive with working with an abused animal, for example, um, that's good. But when I misuse it to like over analyze, so they don't like me. What did I say wrong? What did I do wrong? I should have said this. Oh, I didn't phrase that right. When I get into that yucky stuff, it's misused. I would like to be able to like keep the meter right in the middle, not go over into the misuse part and keep it on the positive part. Does that
Right.
make sense?
It does. It does. And I think sometimes people think of sensitivity as a bad thing, but a negative thing sometimes because people like, oh, you're so sensitive. But we need sensitive people that are
Oh my
sensitive and
gosh.
caring. And
Isn't love sensitive? Love is not insensitive.
yes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like somewhere a happy medium with sensitivity is a good
Yes.
thing, like what you're describing, like when to be a little more and when to be a little less and when to just keep it even kiltered, don't you think?
Right, right. I think oversensitive was the term. Like the, I'm trying to say, don't yet be in the middle, the good sensitive, but not the oversensitive.
Right, right. So, because yeah, you could get into a lot of trouble that way. I tend to be sensitive myself, and I've worked with the homeless and different things like that. Because you can be taken advantage of, and you have to know when to be sensitive and when to be a little bit more disconcerting. So,
Right.
yeah.
And we both been teachers, so that makes sense that we, have the sensitive side.
Oh, yeah, because you have to care about the babies. I mean,
Right.
why are you
But
there?
you don't want to get so involved that you're overwhelmed by their issue and the little bit that you can do for them. You got to keep that balance.
Exactly. You are so right. Okay, I have another question for you. If you had one day left to live, how would you spend it?
Oh my gosh, that is really a tough one. Um, I don't think I do anything extra special. I think I would just try to be aware of all my blessings on a normal day and, include my husband and all
Mm.
my animals, my cats and my dogs and the horse I'm riding and be outside in nature and enjoy good meals and just kind of like realize the blessings I've already have that I've taken for granted. I don't need to go to Paris for anything, like anything like super different. I just need to live
Mhm.
my life at a higher level of appreciation.
Yeah. And I think we should live every day like it's our last. Really.
Yeah.
We should give it our all each and every day. I really believe that. Okay. Who has been your most important professional spiritual mentor?
I think I'd have to say Reverend Judy for the spiritual mentor. I had this horse dream. I grew up in a big city with this inborn horse desire. I don't know where it came from. I didn't know anybody that had horses. I
Hmm.
didn't know anything about horses except what I saw on the TV westerns and in the library. Um, so I went through life trying to tell myself, oh, I can't have that. Um, it's too expensive. It's dangerous. But then I try it and I'd like it. But then I was going back and forth. I mean, and finally I got to my 40s and that wasn't working anymore. And I had just had an offer to buy this really nice horse. And we had to turn it down. I was married at that time, so in my 40s, got married late. And we just knew, my husband and I, we love animals. That's a big commitment. You have to be prepared. And we weren't. We were renting an apartment in the city. And so we couldn't do it. So I happened to talk to his minister, who was a woman, or is a woman, and which is really interesting because in my background, all the religious, leaders had been male. And so this was a fascinating experience for me. And I told her I was really, really dispirited and really angry at God because I felt this calling to be around horses, but
Mhm.
all my attempts to make it so weren't working. And I was going to give it up. So I just said, I'm mad at God. I mean, I'm just mad at God dangling this horse at me. And then I go to grab the experience and it's pulled away. And that's happened too much. And I think that's really a sick thing to do, to torture somebody like that. So I don't want horses anymore. God, you can't hurt me anymore or frustrate me anymore. And I thought that she'd probably get mad at me for being angry at God. And she just looked across the desk at me and she goes in real soft voice, Jan, who do you think put that dream in you? And who do you think is going to keep knocking at your heart until you open it up to horses? And I mean, that just blew me away. I felt like this worm was spinning, honestly. I mean, that was so powerful. I felt it in my inmost self. And then the miracles started happening. That I'm 70 now and horses are still in my life. One after the other, in a way and a time that I need it. And I need that particular horse, what it has to teach me. It's just, it's really, I know that God has my back now, that. And I also know that I don't have to do it myself, that you need community. And I've met a lot of people, just like, as writers, we met each other because we support each other, and we have a lot of friends that support us. And, I thought to be stronger, you had to do it all alone, and I was weak, but you have to open up your heart and let people in.
So true, so true. And no man is an island, we need each other. We really do. And then sometimes a lot of your supporters are people that you don't know, believe it or not, like there are strangers that are willing to support you and help you. But it's about being open and vulnerable and sensitive, but not too much.
Right.
So yes, I love that. Let's see. If you could do anything, I'll go ahead and ask it. If you could do anything all over again, what would you do?
Oh gosh, I would learn to learn that I found this ugly rock in not this particular one, but I found an ugly rock like this in Highlanders. That was my horse of 20 years, his pasture one day. And I had a dream in me, but the dream was not, I was afraid to let it out. I was afraid people would come and not appreciate it or criticize it or whatever. And this lady in the writing group said, "Oh, you should crack it open and let friends in instead of worrying about enemies, coming in. You should look at it as friends coming in." And so I found a geode like this in Highlander's pasture, and I knew she was right. And if you crack this rock open, there's an emptiness inside. And I don't know where the camera is, but there's crystals in there. There's beauty in there.
Yeah.
And that's the dream that God planted in me. Right. And I knew who it was from, because if you take the spelling of Geode, Geode, and you take away the two E's, what do you have? You have God. So this was like signed, sealed, and delivered, to me, that yes, you do take your dreams seriously. And even if it's having a horse, well, that's not like being the president of the United States or the head of the UN or some famous scientist or some an astronaut. It just seems such a little thing, but it's my thing. And, it's me. I'm not called to be one of those prestigious great things.
So if you could do it all over again, you would
learn. I would take my dream seriously earlier, and I would, that's it.
And not compare your dreams to other people's.
Right. Dreams. And not have to get their approval for it.
Yes. And you know what? I think that's where we fall short as people. A lot of times we compare ourselves to others. Just compare yourself to you. Am
Right.
I better today than I was yesterday? Am
Exactly.
I more established and more prominent and more amazing and living my best life more than I was this year than last year? And if I'm improving and I'm a better version of myself, and that's all that matters.
Yep. We're
And
life learners.
yes, I love that. Okay, I understand that you enjoy riding horses and rescuing animals. Tell us your favorite adventure with one of your animals, and past or present. I know it's going to be Highlander, so tell
Okay.
us about
I'm going
Highlander.
to tell two. One, the
Okay.
first one is about the horse before Highlander. It was a friend's horse. It was a whole miracle story.
Mhm.
Um, his name was Dancer Street, and he was a white purebred Arabian. And he was semi-retired, and he wasn't competing anymore. And my job was to ride him for free to exercise him, which was like win-win. Like he's an
Yeah.
ex-champion, and I'm getting to ride him for free. So
Wow.
we're riding this one fall day, and there's this hill, and the sun. It was after school. I rode after school, and the sun was setting, and it was a hilly area. And the hill that we were going up, the sun was setting, and it was big white fall. It was in fall, and it was a big white warm sun, and it was just perched on top of the hill, and we were headed towards it, and we were cantering up the hill, and all of a sudden everything was white. I couldn't see
Mm.
anything but white. The sun engulfed me, and he was white. And I looked down, and there was white. Above, all around me was white, and I felt like my spirit was like I was flying like Pegasus toward the sun. I mean, I was. I don't know. It was just a really freeing, beautiful, um, out of body kind of spiritual experience. It was really cool.
Wow. Now, do you have any of your horse braiding bracelets with you? I was just gonna ask you to show them.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you one more story though
Okay, go
about
ahead.
Highlander. Highlander, before I bought him, I was his exercise rider, and
Mhm.
I was following. I went. His his owner is a competitive long distance rider, and the horses have to go on long rides to build up like athletes do. And she was in front of me, and I was behind her on Highlander, who's was a red horse, chestnut. And she, as dusk fell, she got harder and harder to see. And it got to the point where it was dark, and we were in the middle of the woods, and I couldn't see anything but dark. This is the opposite side of Dancers the Light story. And it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything, in front of her, in front of me. I couldn't see any part of her. And I just trusted. I just was it was so beautiful. It was so magical. It just was delightful and thrilling. And we just, the horses have really good senses of direction. So I
Mhm.
just heard her, like little sounds of crunching through leaves and things like that. Stream, little glowworms were glowing on the ground. It was just pure magic, and I was so comfortable. I didn't have any itching or any aching or anything. I was so comfortable that I didn't even feel I was in my body. I was
Wow.
free of my body in the dark. I was in the womb. I was protected in a womb
Hmm.
of, and I was totally safe and warm and comfortable and free. Anyway, that was my Highlander greatest experience.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. So, do you have the bracelet that we could see?
I have a
I was
bracelet that you can
telling
see.
people about the
This
bracelet.
was inspired by a Highlander,
Wow.
and I'm getting closer. Can you see it at all?
Okay, go up a little bit. Right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's his eye in the middle. It's a wooden bead, and then the white braid is the white of his eye, and then the braid on top, which is half red, which
Go
is
back to the other way a little bit.
uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the black is, his eye, the skin around his eye, and then the red, he's a red horse, so that's his hair. It was inspired by him, and I love the creativity and the inspiration. And then this is the earring.
Other way. Can't see. Come this way. The other way. I can't
Can I
see.
do this? I feel
Like in front of your camera, right in front. There we go. Pretty. Beautiful. Now, do you make your jewelry for other people or do you just
yes,
sell people?
I make it mostly for women. Really love their horses. They're like
Mhm.
they're like family members, and when they get close to their animals, and they like to wear something during the day to remind them of, about their animal when they're not, at the barn. And then, of course, Highlander passed right after Valentine's Day this year. He was almost 28. And I have this. I made this for him, when he was alive. It's not all his hair, though, but I do have jewelry just made from his hair only. And so that's a great thing. I can hold on to that forever. So it's in
Beautiful.
here and it's out here.
Oh, so sweet. Well, what's next for you, Janet? Oh,
Well,
and don't forget to share your information about how we can get in touch with you too. So
I'll do that right now before I forget.
and your information, your social media and all that you want to share.
Basically, remember Swishtails, SWISHTAILS. So I write books and I make jewelry, but it's TAILS because I started that first. So Swish Tails, and add a .com, and that's my business or my website.
Okay.
At AOL is how you can, contact me personally. Swishtails is also how you would get on my Facebook business page.
Okay.
And I think my Etsy page as well.
Okay. So what's next for you?
I just wrote my first children's book, and I am in the process of interviewing illustrators. So choose an illustrator to illustrate it. And it's a children's version of my first book, At Home on a Horse in the Woods, which is my horse memoir about the 3 special horses in my life. And it's a child's version of a little girl that had a dream and it came true, and how that made her happy and her life better. So
I love that.
yeah,
it's important to have a dream, more than one sometimes, that a goal and aspiration for yourself. So, but I thank you.
Can you see that?
Yes,
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I can see it. I see you. I see your book covers, and I see the horses. I mean, I see everything.
Okay, good. This is a tip I learned. It's so funny. I had to have these. I was trying to figure out how to get these stacked up here. This is on my cat climbing perch. And then this, I took I was, what do you call, slicing up paper, when you have your documents, what's that word called?
I don't know.
You put it in the thing and it chews up your paper.
Oh, shredder, paper shredder.
Yeah. So I took the top of the shredder off and I put it on a piece of furniture, and the shredder where you put the paper in, that's that little, depression. It's perfect to take this and you put your poster in the depression and you have a poster holder.
Look at those life hacks. Just life hacks, girl. Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us today. We're going to say ta-ta to you.
Okay.
And I'll see you next at the at the Louisville Book Festival.
Yes.
We'll both be at the Louisville Book Festival
Looking
later
forward
on
to that.
this month, because this is going to air in October. So later on this month, you guys can catch us at the Louisville Book Festival. And that isn't that on, let's see, the weekend of the 22nd, right?
I don't have my calendar with me. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's the 22nd. Let me look for both of us.
I know it's toward the end of the month.
Yes, it is. It's definitely the end of the month. Let's see.
Before Halloween.
Yes. Upcoming events. I'm probably going to have, let's see, October. The book signing at the YMCA. I don't know. Oh yeah. It's the 28th.
28th. Okay.
October 28th, the week.
Isn't it 2 days though?
I have down here that is Friday, October 28th and October the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see you. Our fans can see us at
Yeah, come see us. Come see us.
Oh, please come see us October the 28th and the 29th. And yeah, so it's gonna be all that. So take care, darling, and I will see you around. I'll see you soon.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm trying to say ta-ta. Oh, it's the wrong one. Okay, let's do it again. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye, darling. All right. That was a wonderful, wonderful interview with my friend Janet. Thanks again for joining us today for Just Gin Live. Be sure to hit the like button, and then I need you to share and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel, Just Gin Live. Please join me on Facebook at Just Gin Live for my podcast. Join me at Just Gin for my business page, and Just Gin Live for Twitter and Instagram as well. Until next time, here's hoping that you are enjoying chai each and every day, whether you're active in the community, working a business, or just living your best life. All right, see you around. Bye. Don't forget the Louisville Book Festival. Bye-bye.